Good Sunday morning rant. Not much to say for the day. Just been watching politics, watching the lack of news about important things that matter. The interesting one to me is the United Nations right now is talking about deep sea mining. Now, mining is just the largest industry on the planet and the basis of most pollution that we know about, that we understand well, and yet there's nothing about what the UN is doing. Now, I haven't searched specifically for it in a couple of weeks, but I just watch the general news. I search news outlets to see if anybody's talking about real pollution. When that mine opens up, when the hundreds of millions or billions of dollars is invested, that mine is going to stay open. The people that made those investments are going to keep it open. The military will all of a sudden start putting bases and outposts somewhere along the supply chain for that. And the politicians will be paid. And 30 years later, when the mining's done and the profits have been taken, the polluters will walk away. And a whole nother generation is going to be born to whatever the miners have left behind. Mining is the fundamental, it is the backbone. It is decades-long supply chain planning so that there's enough copper for the coppers and enough steel for the steels. So these large things, these large global things, like deep sea mining, they are going to take and basically suck up the ocean floor with vacuums, take out what they need, and let the rest settle back down the mile or mile and a half that they dug it up from. Somehow the industry is already out of hand because we just aren't seeing what they're doing. The oceans are in deep trouble for numbers of reasons. Any number of reasons. Very real reasons. From nuclear pollution, drums of nuclear waste dumped in the oceans, tons of nuclear waste pumped into the oceans, and underground pipes from all those reactors and all those facilities. And we can go on to the chemical plants that have the exact same attributes, and they far outnumber the number of nuclear plants. Remember, a lot of what we're doing is cumulative. Just because you forgot about it doesn't mean it's gone away. The dioxins on those dirt roads is still there. It is still a risk and a harm at some level that we've deemed safe, or some level we just don't know about. So these things are the bigger parts of life that are managed by somebody with a whole lot of money and time to think about it, and resources and money to buy politicians to get the profits. So somewhere in there's a balance, there's a yin and a yang. There's a feng shui in the room that's being lost. Has been lost for decades. Like I said, strategic national reserves, that used to actually be a conversation for the United States, not your neighborhood, not Bill Gates' survival bunker he's building somewhere because he thinks his family's going to survive. So, where's it all going? That's a great question. And you won't hear any politicians speaking to this kind of level, to these kinds of futures, because that means that those big companies are going to be looked at. The companies that make precursor chemicals. What is a Dow DuPont besides the largest chemical company on the planet? with facilities across the planet, with a common knowledge of chemistry across the planet. So when they learn something somewhere else, does it get brought back and make improvements to existing processes? No, because it's grandfathered in. There's some law that lets them keep polluting because, well, in the good old days. So there's pollution. There's looks like it's going to be a very dark video this morning. I hope you can hear it. And I hope these go somewhere, because peace out.